Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, September 6th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. We're back, y'all. We are back. All right, well, I hope y'all didn't miss me too much last week. It certainly looks like Friday was interesting. Look at that profile. There's about 10,000 mixed signals coming from this profile. So this morning, I'm coming into the market pretty neutral. I just got to kind of step back, let the market do some chop and figure out where it wants to go. And I'm going to walk you through why right now. Okay. So first and foremost, we had a downtrend in the market. And on Friday, we broke that downtrend, right? We had value overlapping to, value completely higher than the previous day for the first time. So that is a sign that that downtrend was over. We also had a higher high and a higher low than the previous day. So that is further confirmation that the downtrend is over. We consider, I got to open up my tool. Sorry, guys. A little rusty here. First day back. There we go. So obviously a downtrend, any kind of trend is what we call excess in the market. Excess often leads to balance, right? The market can only go in one direction for so long. There's two ways the market can balance off excess. It can do it with price. So it pushes as far as it can go one way, and then it has to return with price the other direction to balance off that excess. The other way that it can balance off the excess is that it can push lower and then just rotate around at lower prices. So those two options to me seem like the most likely scenario today because of the fact that value was higher on Friday than Thursday, and we made a higher high and a higher low. So I think either sideways or a push up as a form of balance would make sense this morning. And then you say to me, well, Charles, but what about that spike? Look at what happened on Friday. Oh, man, the market sold off like crazy in the second half of the day. What about that? Should we be ignoring that? Kind of. We don't know yet, but I would suspect that it is very possible we can kind of ignore the sell-off that happened at the end of the day on Friday. And my reason for that is, first off, we had a spike down on Friday, which was bearish, as a sign of continuation of the momentum down. But then this morning, we are going to open above that spike. So that is the least bearish of those scenarios. So that takes a little bit of my worry away. And just the fact that Friday was a Friday right before a 3-day weekend. Often what happens on days like this, because the big players aren't participating, the big day traders have gone to the Hamptons early for the weekend, and they're not in the market, it means there's a lot less volume in the market. And so it's really just short-term traders that are, speculating and pushing the market around. So you can often get days where the market has a lot of volatility right before a 3-day weekend, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's just the fact that there was no competition to fight against the short-term traders, so they were able to push it lower. Okay, so I'm not bearish on the spike down because of the fact that it was before a 3-day weekend and the fact that value is higher and we had a higher high and a higher low. So that gets me neutral right from the start. So then the next question is, all right, well, if I'm neutral, which means I don't know where the market's going to go today. I know I'm opening inside the previous range. What am I, of course, expecting? You guessed it, chop, right? I'm expecting the market to just grind up and down for the first few hours today, probably in a very similar range to what we have here in the overnight or the over the weekend. And we just got to kind of see which way that chop breaks. So to the upside, the first major resistance is going to be this node from the overnight around 39.45. So as the market opens, we'll be looking to see how does it react in there. Does it get resistance and then push down, or is it able to push through there? If it's able to get through there, the next major resistance is going to be the base of the single prints down at 39.61. So once again, we'd be looking for the market to get up there, find some resistance, and then just chop and chop and chop. And if that one breaks, then I start to get a little bit bullish, right? Because then I start to say to myself, wait a minute, are we balancing here? So this is the first resistance. This is the second. If we can get above this resistance, I know it's very, very close, but the goal would then to be to test the overnight high. If we can test the overnight high, can we get above it, find support? If so, the target becomes the next set of single prints down at 39.72. If we can get through that, come back down and find some support, that is very, very bullish for continuation to the upside. It's also worth noting that this could also be the beginning of a balance area just looking at the lows, right? This is often what a balance area low looks like. So if the market needs to spend a few days bouncing around in a tight range, that is generally what a balance area low would look like. So to me, it wouldn't be unreasonable that this could be a balance area high. This could be a balance area low. If that's the case, right? I don't know. This is a guess. We just had our first day of value higher, so it's too early to be certain. But if this is a balance area and we can get above the overnight high, I would be looking to try to get up there and test that opposite end of balance. So anything above the overnight high gets me bullish and monitoring for continuation to the upside, but not until that's tested, because there's a very good chance we're just going to chop up and down in the lower end of the range here. And as far as the downside is concerned, I would pretty much look at this node right here around 39.28 for support, and for the market to chop, 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 chop. If we break that, we get bearish to head down and test the low from, well, let's not call it the low. Let's just call it 39.18. Okay. And then monitoring for continuation down. But in between, we ought expect some chop. Market is open in 1 minute. Oh, also, I just wanted to mention I added 2 new things to my internals here. The TRIN, which is essentially very, very similar to the advancers versus decliners. The advancers versus decliners are just showing us the changes in price. You know, the stocks that are going up divided by the stocks that are going down. This one takes that number and then the number based on volume. So the volume going up divided by the volume going down, and it divides the one from the other. So it's basically price divided by volume. So it's just one more look at the internals, the same as the breadth, the advancers versus decliners, and the ticks. And then over here, I have the put-call ratio for the S&P 500, which is just, are there more puts or calls being purchased? And I'm not really going to be talking about these much probably over the next few weeks. I just want to watch them and kind of see what happens, see if there's any information there. All right, the market's open. Let the chop begin. If you have not yet, please smash that like button. I sure would appreciate it. The algorithm always punishes me when I take a vacation. So the more likes that you guys can smash, the better it'll help the channel get the momentum going. All right, so we're pushing up into that first resistance around 45 here. Does that smack us back down to the opening price? I would also consider the low right now weak because we opened and immediately went higher. Increasing the odds. We need some more trade down there. Good morning to the Shaw, Scooball, Nap, Choppin' Fan, Caffeine. Nap says, welcome back to me. Thank you, sir. And my respect to the Discord. You all did a good job holding it down. Yeah, you did. The Discord was keeping it real. I really appreciate you guys supporting one another. John, good morning to you. Phoenix Rising, welcome. TV is here. Nick G. Eldora, Laura, Alex, Daniel. Blue shirt in the house. Chris is here. Jack, Baku. Jeremy, Novice Trader. Novice Trader, hope you had a good vacation and you're refreshed. No, I wish I would have had one more day to rest once I came back. I'm actually exhausted from my vacation. Chris, good morning to you. Arcaleon in the house. MW. Tisha, let's get a trend in the likes. Let's pump those likes. Got 154 people. Only 71 of you like me? That's okay. That's not too bad. I'm sure I can earn a few more likes before the end. David Keene, good morning to you. Brian, good to see you. Arcaleon says PMI data at 9:45. Ooh, good call. So they won't want to take it anywhere until they know. Further reason for chop. Yoda, good morning to you. And are you going to the U.S. Open? No, is it in New York? I'm not a tennis guy or a large crowds guy. Javier, thank you, brother. Okay, so we got good taper on the low, but I still think it's weak because it's only one tick below the low of the day or below the opening price. So the taper tells us that we're ready to chop back up, but the weakness tells us that once we do, we're likely to come back down again. Scooball, this opening price is weak. Yes, sir. MBBQ. Dang it, missed a scale in by a tick. No worries, brother. You'll have lots of chances. We're in a chop zone. It's just going to keep grinding up and down. It was a scale out. Bummer. Well, like I said, you'll get a chance to do it again. Got 0 points instead. MMB. Come on, brother. Could have moved that stop above entry. Could have at least gotten a tick or two. I walked away for a second. Yeah, you can't be walking away. Not in the chop. Okay, so there's the repair of the week low. I'm going to ignore Monday's trade. So this little bit of trade that happened for just like the couple of hours market was open yesterday, I just completely ignore that. I treat this all like it's one big weekend. And I ignore that. So I'm not looking at that yesterday's low as being anything important. I'm more focused on the volume here. Speaking of which, looking for support. Mateus, we missed you. Welcome back. Glad to see trading still works when you're not here. Well, that was the one thing I wanted you guys to test. Are you still thinking in probabilities? Are you still watching the two-way auction? That's all that matters. So once again, we're looking for support to step in here and push us back up to the halfback right around the opening price, 39.34. If we continue to push back down into the spike, which is below 24, things start to get bearish here. So those buyers need to step in. Okay, there's the support. So now we're looking to head up and test the halfback around 39.34. Do we get resistance there? If we do, it's starting to get a little bearish, but if we push right through it, then it's just more chop. We also have a low volume node in need of some backfilling right there at the halfback. Okay, well, things are starting to get bearish. We're back down in the spike. We did not really find support. Generally with chop, you find support the first time you test it, and then you chop for a while. So getting into the spike and the lack of support are both a signal that we don't have that many buyers here in the market. And the fact that we couldn't get back and backfill that low volume node is also a when what should happens doesn't. Further signal that we may not be getting a chop zone here. We may be looking to go lower. Dum dum. Dum dum. Okay, so now is previous support becoming resistance? Is this area around 29 becoming resistance now? That would be bearish. All right, well, I'm now bearish, as this is not how it should react in chop. We should have bounced right back up. So I am bearish as long as we remain below the opening price at 39.34. If we pass back through the open, then I'll be wrong, and we're just going to continue to chop here. But I think the next target is the overnight low, which is about 39.15. Daniel, opening price is what? Opening price is $39.34. I would say now I'm looking to stay under the half back instead of the opening price, right? This right here should act as resistance. If we get through that, we've got that low volume node in need of backfilling. So I'd say I'm bearish below the half back now. Looking to test the overnight low and monitor for continuation lower from there. All right, so the low is considered weak here because it is one tick off from that overnight low, increasing the odds. We need more selling. RK, hard market to trade. If you want to get short, the opportunity was in the middle of the night. And who wants to get long here? I would disagree, brother. If so, we had a downtrend in the market. That downtrend was potentially over because we had value higher yesterday, or on Friday. I mean, if we start to pass down below Friday's low, then that theory is incorrect, and we still have a downtrend in the market. So, if the market starts trending lower, you can get short anytime you want. You did not miss the trade. And who wants to get long here? Well, a swing trader would love to get long here. This could be a balance area low. So the opportunities are not missed, I promise. I do not for any reason see a day trade long here, but I certainly could see a swing trade. Daniel, I was short at 53 before the open, but closed after open at 37, as Charles seemed bullish. Should have held for the PMI news. I don't know why you took me as bullish. I said nothing bullish. I said there was a chance at balance, and balance could be balanced with price, which would have been bullish. But I said before I would even consider it, I would need to see us get through the base of the single prints down and then find support above the overnight high. So if you were short from up here, your stop should have been here, and you should have stayed in the trade, because the chop zone, you would want to wait to find out what happens in the chop zone if you're already in the trade. But if you're flat the market, like I was when I came into the morning, you must wait to see how the chop reacts. So don't take trades based on my, short-term day trading perspective if you're in a swing trade that you've been sitting in since the overnight. But once again, I would just say, guys, there's nothing stopping you from going short. Look for resistance. Get in with a stop. This is bearish. Mateus, have you looked at the ES daily uptrend from those? I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The lows are right here. So we're about to test them. And boy, things will get bearish if they break. Chris, ask me all those questions again when we're in the private stream. Too much happening now. Stan, what's the private stream? If you look down in the description, you'll see a link for the Brigade membership. If you pay $10 a month, you get to watch me live stream like this all day, every day from, until 4 p.m., till the market closes. I cut this one off in 30 minutes. If you're new to the channel, I'd recommend just watching this first hour for a few days and see if you like the way I look at markets. It's certainly not for everyone. I look at it as an auction process, which kind of goes counter to what's normal for people. And so it works for some, it doesn't work for others. So if you're brand new, don't immediately join the Brigade. Watch a couple of these live streams first and see if it's right for you. But then it only costs $10. J Trader, bulls back? What do you mean bulls back? All right, there's the support. So now we're looking for resistance around 39.20 and then up at 39.26. The node of volume here and the halfback for continuation lower. Okay, so we now have the initial balance to the downside. That is a little bit bearish to see. Also pushing below yesterday's low is very bearish to see. That is a sign that Friday was not a signal. The momentum was over to the downside. That was just those short-term traders having their fun with the market. But clearly the larger participants still see a downtrend. So that is bearish. Okay, so we got some support right where we are now, around 38.95. Then we got some more support around 38.87. And we are monitoring for continuation lower. We got the initial balance to the downside, which is bearish, and value completely lower than Friday, which is bearish. Joe got me the 100 likes. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. There's 186 of you here. Does anybody else want to give me that thumbs up? I did call the bearishness from the overnight low. That was a whopping 20 points ago. One might consider that worthy of a thumbs up. I told you I'd earn it. Or sorry, 15 points ago. Bad at math. Jeremy Jones would love for this to cool off, find resistance, and have an obvious one time framing entry. Yeah, that would be perfect, wouldn't it? If the market just made it easy, that would be nice. At this point, I think it's safe to call this a trend down in the ticks as well. We're making, lower highs. So if the ticks are able to come through and give us a big green tick that breaks that downtrend, gets back above the zero line and is able to stay above it, that will probably be the first clue that the market is, ready to find support and try to head back up. But as long as these ticks stay below the zero line, we can look for the momentum to the downside to continue. Ben, what POC, value area high, value area low, you working off today? Well, you're talking about rotation, I think. The market is not rotational right now, so those things don't really matter. The only thing that matters right now is where is value compared to yesterday, right? Where is this blue box compared to Friday's blue box, which is all the way above the screen? So that just tells us that there is some bearishness in the market. And there's not really much else that the value can tell us right now. Right now, it's about momentum. Are we about to start a trend? Remember, the market is either balancing, going up and down, or it is trending, heading a certain direction. We have gotten the first signals that we may be doing the latter. We may be starting to trend lower. So until we get a new signal that tells us we're rotating, we don't really need to worry about the POC or the value area, high or low. Those are not important references, as those are references for balance, not trend. David, what's to say this isn't support being built right now? Nothing. I mean, it could be, but we'll know if they get back above the halfback. right? If it's support, enough buyers should step in at the very least to get back above halfback. So any failure to do that, and it's just short-term traders that are just about to get slapped in the face. Because the momentum, it will shock you how far they can push it. Don't fight the momentum. If this is a low, this is not me saying this, please don't buy because I'm saying this. This is a purely hypothetical. If this was a low, if this was going to be support and the market was going to turn around, it would mean we have a balance area and we're heading up towards the opposite end. So no reason whatsoever, even if that's what you believe is happening, to go long right now. No reason to go long right here. You can wait until you get confirmation and then buy the support because the move is all the way up to here. It's much better to get in here when you're sure the market's going to head up than to get in here and guess. And the difference in terms of profit is minimal, right? So at the moment, just stay focused on the momentum. When it's over, there'll be a chance to go long and make lots and lots of money. But you don't have to guess before that information is given to you. For the moment, you should go with what the information is telling you, which is bearish. Okay, some potential support here around 84, which was a previous set of single prints. Johnny, do previous days halfbacks have any significance at all to be considered as a potential reference? I would say not really. I mean, is it impossible that the market might go to a previous day's halfback and then reverse? No, of course not. It could happen, but I've never seen anything like that. With any sort of statistical probability that it would be worth taking into consideration. Previous day's volume point of control is certainly something to consider, but not the halfback. Scooball, will this resistance hold? We'll have to wait and see. Scooball looks like it's holding. Yes, it does. The sellers are in charge of this market. Jeremy Jones. Still 13 minutes to see how huge this initial bounce will be. Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? So once again, just keep an eye on those ticks. If they're going to find support here and head back up to test some resistance above, we'll start with a big green tick. That'll be able to get above the 0 line and stay above it. So far, we don't have that. So the momentum is still to the downside. In other words, the resistance is holding. Scoopball, we had a gap to the upside at Friday. Couldn't fill the gap and go scenario. But after that, this panic. Yeah, like I said, don't worry about Friday. Friday was just short-term traders. Anybody who has the volume to truly move the market, they took Friday off. But guess what? They're back. The vacation is over. They're sitting in front of their desks right now, and guess which way they're trading the market? Thank you, John. All right, they're getting those ticks above the 0 line. Are they about to get slapped right back down, or can they hold it? They're holding it. So heading back up to test the oh, here we are. We're already there. Test the resistance at Thursday's low, right here around 39.06. Next resistance up at halfback, 39.15.50. Chris says, tough spot. If you look at the daily chart, decisions need to be made. Ooh, Jesus, yeah. Look at that. We're dancing right on top of the larger downtrend on the daily. That's what somebody was talking about earlier. My bad. I thought you were talking about the last 2 days. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of potential here. If they can turn it around and get back up above there, that will, I mean, I wouldn't call it bullish, but it would save the market. But if they start to, if they stay below this downtrend, I mean, that is bearish AF. So, yep, interesting moment on the daily. All right, well, there's the C period. So we now have our initial balance. The initial balance is the first hour's trade. So from the A period high to the B period low. Whichever direction we break the initial balance, we are likely to get further continuation in that direction. I do believe the higher probabilities that we break it to the downside with all this bearish momentum. So what to look for now? Well, we got one single print that still needs backfilling. So let's look to head up and fill that. Then get some resistance to head lower. If they're able to get through that single print and continue higher, I would be looking for resistance around the halfback, which is currently at 39.15. If they're able to get through the halfback and they've got the ticks, they've reversed the ticks and they're starting to trend higher, then I would go into a neutral stance. Basically between halfback and the high of the day, I would be sort of neutral, trying to see what the market is going to do. And then if it can get back above the high of the day, I'd start to get bullish. But to me, the highest probability is that the C period is going to head down, get below that B period low, and then the market will be one time framing lower, which would be bearish for continuation. So that is what it feels like the market wants to do here. And that is how I see it. Thank you all so very much for joining. I'm heading on over to the private stream with all the cool kids that are in the brigade. For the rest of you, I will see you here tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, also, if you're in the brigade, give me like 5 minutes before the email goes out. I forgot to set it up. I just realized. So it's going to take a few minutes to get that email out, but you'll have your link shortly. Okay, bye.